Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here. I'm gonna do a pretty quick video here. Now, one of the things one of my favorite villains from the DC culture, and is from Superman. I personally don't like Lex Luthor very much. I think that he's a good villain, but I want a villain that actually has a little bit more meat on the potatoes. And one of my favorite villains is General Zod. My favorite villain out of the whole thing is Darkseid. I love Darkseid, as you can see. That's why it's title in my name. It's Darkseid. But my next favorite is General Zod. I love General Zod. I think that there's a lot there with him. He does care and love Krypton. The only thing he has is he's very very dangerous. He has a very linear outlook on Krypton. He's a strong elitist, and he believes that Krypton is the best of the best of the best. Now, we've had different iterations of General Zod over the years, and we've had about 4 different variations of General Zod over our live action years. And I'm going to go over them and talk a little bit about how I personally feel about them, and I want to see how people feel about them down below. Now, one of them is the originator, Terence Stamp as General Zod from Superman 2 and Superman 1 and 2. Now, he was in Superman 2 mostly, but in Superman 1 we got his trial and him thrown into the Phantom Zone by Jor-El. And he said he has the classic greatest line in comic book history: "You will kneel before Zod," and that's something that he said even in the comic book heyday. So Terence Stamp, to me, he did a really good job for the time of the villain. He was a cookie cutter villain. He was very simple and simplistic. But there wasn't very much there. He was an egomaniacal villain that just wanted to take over the earth and crush Superman beneath his boot. But over the years, people have used him as he is the end all be all version of Zod. I disagree. He's good. He is. He's classic. But the thing is, there wasn't much there with him. He was just an egomaniacal, classic, mustache twirling villain, and there was not much there with him. I'm not disrespecting Terence Stamp. Heck no. I think Terence Stamp did a great job with the character for the time. But if that version of Zod was ever against a current version of Superman, he would look very cookie cutter. He would look very simplistic and very stupid. But for the time against that type of Superman, it made sense. He was an egomaniacal leader who just wanted to rule over the earth versus a guy who just wants to stop him. The simple good guy versus bad guy. I think he did a really great job, and he will always be the original General Zod to me. Then we have Callum Blue. Now, when he got the role to be Major Zod in the Smallville TV show, it was met with a lot of resentment and a lot of, okay, well, what is he going to bring to the table? I thought that I was hoping that they were not going to revisit the Terence Stamp version. I was hoping they're going to evolve his character a little bit more, and they did. He was like Kal-El. He was very ambitious. He wanted the best for Zod. I mean for Krypton, and his character was not evil. He literally wanted the best for Krypton, and he cared about his fellow Kryptonians, and he started to care about the Earth. But slowly, he was starting to see that. Why are we listening to Kal-El? Why is Kal telling us what to do? I mean, aren't we good enough for this or not? It started. His resentment towards Kal-El in the show was starting to become apparent, and then it devolved into hatred and animosity and pure unadulterated spite, and then he became General Zod. He got thrown into the Phantom Zone, and then we meet him later where he becomes General Zod, and he is General Zod. But the thing is that because we got so much of his character, we got so much of who he is and where he got to this point, when they revisited back to him being more like this version, it made sense. when he started becoming that egomaniacal villain that wants to basically get out of the Phantom Zone and crush the Earth underneath his boot, and do it while while Superman is watching, it made sense. I was perfectly fine with it. I think that Callum Blue did a great job with Zod. I would love to see him come back as Zod. I would love to see him come back as General Zod for a future for maybe the CW or a different or an Elseworlds type of story, and have him come in and showcase that he could easily take the screen. He did a phenomenal job with it, and if he can easily rehash Terence Stamp's version of Zod and make it more his own. And I think that a lot of people would take that at face value and not try to put him in the shadow of Terence Stamp. Callum Blue is a really, really great TV version of Zod, but for the show but on the show he got a little bit of the to me he got a little bit put into the back because his story was involved with the coming of Darkseid. So we weren't gonna see much of Zod anyway. So that's what I felt about that version of Zod. Now we move to the movie version, and this is him. This is the man. Michael Shannon, in my personal opinion, is the epitome of Zod. We got so much of his character, so much of him, that it almost dwarfed Callum Blue and even Terence Stamp. Now, if you look at what Michael Shannon was bringing, is his character, like he said, he said it right before he about to fight Superman. The reasoning, he basically told him, the reasoning I was created was to protect Krypton, and that was his sole purpose. Every action, no matter if it was deemed evil or degenerate, it was just for the good of his own people. But now he has no people. Cal took that away from him. And he said that he was going to kill every single human on that planet. He devolved into that classic Zod. Before, now you saw in the movie that he was becoming that Zod. He was becoming that Zod. When he first met Cal, he wasn't looking at him as an enemy. He was looking at him as, is he going to do the right thing? Is he going to help us? Because he's not human. He's Kryptonian. And that's how he saw it as. He is a Kryptonian. He is the last of the House of El. He will do the right thing and bring back Krypton. But when Cal didn't do it, he felt that Cal betrayed Krypton. And to him, that's treasonous. That's the same thing for us. If humanity was completely almost wiped out and a scientist was able to regrow and bring back the human race, and a general was telling him, "Are you gonna do it?" and the scientist says, "No, I think it's gonna end the same way." That military person is gonna look at that scientist as, guess what? A traitor. You are a traitor to the human race. You need to die and give me back and we could bring back the Earth and make it a utopia the way it's supposed to be. So I don't understand how people didn't truly understand Man of Steel, but that's mine. And I'd rather for everyone to want to talk about what Michael Shannon did. I think that Michael Shannon, in my personal opinion, he is the best DC villain they've created. He is the best. He is General Zod. The next one who came after that, I believe, was Orm. They did a really great job by giving a lot of meat to those potatoes so we can actually look at these characters and go, what the heck? How can you go from being like this to a completely evil character like that? And we saw his evolution. We saw that his evolution started when he killed Jor-El, and he felt remorse for it. He felt remorse. He didn't want to kill his best friend. He didn't want to kill his brother in arms, but he felt that, like he told Kal-El on the ship. He goes, I have a duty to my people. And if I have to do it again, I would. Because he has a duty. His duty is to protect his people, and his people deserve to have a chance to come back and deserve to have a chance of greatness. And Cal didn't see it that way. He saw that they're going to repeat the same mistakes. They're going to do it again. Krypton had a chance. And Zod didn't see it that way. Zod was very linear, and I felt that they did a phenomenal job with that. Zach brought to life a General Zod that we can all go, wow to. And that's what he did. And a lot of people, and a good amount of people on the Snyder Cut still would probably say Michael Shannon Zod is the best DC villain that we have. We don't know very much about what's going on with the Snyder Cut. I don't want to bring that into this conversation. This is about the live action versions of Zod we've gotten already. And I personally feel they did a great job with this version of Zod. I cannot wait to see if they do decide to bring him back. Now, this is Colin Salmon. I'm sorry, Colin Salmon. He's playing the General Zod for Krypton, and I talked about it in both my other videos that I think that Colin Salmon is doing a great job. If you really look at it, he is taking a lot of him and even him and a little bit of him, all in his version. So I'm sorry for flipping through it, but his version of Zod is very ruthless. His Zod does care about Krypton, but again, like I said before in one of my videos, we don't know his backstory very much. We know his backstory, but we don't know his backstory in conflicts of if he ever got out of that Phantom Zone to confront Superman. We don't know that, and if his version did, we don't know why he would have that animosity towards Cal. Now we know that he did because he said numerous times that we know that Adam Strange said that he's fought Superman before. He's fought Superman. He's a despot. He's evil. He's this. He's this. He's this. So we know that he's fought Superman before. We know that he's tried to enslave the Earth before. We know that he tried to do certain things in the story before. But we don't know if he's ever confronted other Kryptonians. We don't know that. If we did, then we know that he probably has it sewn right up that he's gonna have to go back into the past and take over Krypton before they even know who the heck he is. So, but he has done a great job. I am not looking at his skin. I'm looking at what he's doing, and his Zod, in my personal opinion, is on the same verge as Michael Shannon's. I think that Colin Salmon probably decided through David Goyer, because David Goyer wrote Man of Steel. He wrote Man of Steel, so he wrote how this General Zod is going to act, and I think that he put that into the mix with him. I think that he wanted everyone to see Michael Shannon Zod through this man, that he was the ghost of Michael Shannon Zod, but he wanted to put his own little spin into it, and there was a lot more of I'm going to say a family element with him without spoiling anything, because we know that Jaina is his mom. That's revealed, but I'm not revealing who his father is and the revelation of that. But if you've seen the season from season 1 and even this season, you should know who his dad is. And the conflicts he goes through, and the growth, and also the de-evolution of what we know of his character and why he did what he did to becoming that General Zod that will burn Krypton down if it means that Krypton will become stronger in the later run. He will do an ethnic cleansing if it means that Krypton will become strong. And I think that sends volumes. That should send volumes to everyone about why General Zod is quite possibly one of Superman's most dangerous adversaries. And yes, Lex Luthor is his arch nemesis. He is. That's his arch nemesis. But when it comes down to enemies, he has 3 of them. It's Zod, Mongol, and Darkseid. Those are his most dangerous adversaries, because it's not about them going against him fist to fist. Superman is not a fighter. He's a slugger, and that's all he does. General Zod is a fighter. He's a martial fighter. He knows how to fight. He knows how to take people down if he needs to. But the problem against Superman is Superman knows how to combat things against that nature. And also, it's not about strength. It's about ideologies. And to me, when it comes down to these characters, when it comes to DC characters, it's always about ideologies. It's Superman's ideology versus Zod's. It's Superman's ideology versus Mongols. And it's definitely Superman's ideologies versus Darkseid's. And that's why I think that those 3 are his top main adversaries. They're his greatest enemies, because to them, they feel that Superman is a massive threat, not just to who they are. I'm not to what they're capable of doing, but who he is and what he inspires in other people. And they really instilled that with Seg in this season of Krypton, but they definitely established it with Colin Solomon's character in for his version of Zod, and it's mind blowing. I love it. I think that he can go volumes with this character, and but I personally believe they can't saturate him in. I think they need to slowly pull him away and bring him back in one last time to make one valiant effort, and then we go further with the story. I think there's a lot more other things they can touch upon, but Colin Salmon is quite possibly one of the best TV versions of Zod we have ever gotten, in my personal opinion. I think there's a lot of root, there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of meat and potatoes, like I've always said before. There's enough there for us to go, we could see that why Zod is dangerous, why he does have the eyes of evil in his demeanor and everything he says. He in all retrospect, Michael Shannon's Zod only devolved because he was so adamant about getting to Krypton. We know that Callum Blue fell to becoming General Zod because his animosity towards Kal-El and the fact that in Smallville he did a lot of bad things. He did a lot of bad things and he tried to hide it. And it made a lot of problems for him later on, and then it finally came to a head. We know why he's evil, because he just wants to control everything. He just wants to put everyone under his boot. And that's the pure root of his character. And that's why Colin Solomon did such a great job. We saw it right there. It's not about, to him, it's not about making Krypton strong. It's about putting everyone under his boot. That everybody needs to look at him as the grand savior, while Michael Shannon's character was looking at it as he was just trying to bring back the bloodlines that he deemed was necessary. So they would look at him in revere. So in a way, they're both in the same camp, but they have their ideologies are a little bit different. But those are my points. What do you guys think? I think they did a great job with this Zod. I am still baffled and still speechless about his Zod, and I'm saying baffled only in a good way, because there's a lot there. There's way more they could do with him. They could make him the main adversary throughout the whole series. I don't want them to, but they could. He could be very, very dangerous for them to deal with later on, because he knows the future, and two, his martial style is very dangerous. So I don't see them wanting to get rid of him, but I see that in a storyline why they have to get rid of him. They cannot have General Zod mucking up time and saturating him in there. There's a lot of other characters they can bring in. There's a lot of other storylines they can do and evolve Krypton a little bit more to get into where they need to get to. But those are my opinions. I think that right now my rankings is Michael Shannon is the greatest Zod I've ever seen him on every level of the screen. Colin Solomon is phenomenal. Colin Blue is there. He's really, really good. And bottom of the barrel is Terence Stamp. And I'm not saying very bottom. I'm not saying that he's terrible. I'm saying that there was not much there with him. He was just there as a typical bad guy that just wanted to take over. You got more out of him, more than out of him. And that's where I feel that they did a really, really great job with. Now, those are my opinions. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys believe in what I'm saying? Do you guys think that I'm lying? Or, I mean, literally, what do you guys think? Let me know. You guys have a great one, okay? Bye.